Okay, welcome to Philip Miller Furniture. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Today, we're going to be making these Advent candle pedestals. Alright, so I'm using a sheet of birch plywood. It's 1/2 inch. It takes 4 sheets to make a set of 5 pedestals. They're cut to 11 inches and 3/4. I cut them down and I stacked 4 of them on top of each other here. And I'm using my clamp here to hold them together because I have to take them over to my miter saw. That will help keep the length of these sides to the exact same. I use my table saw to miter a 45-degree edge. This will conceal the layers of ply when the whole sides are put together. Next, I sand the panels with my orbital sander using 220 grit sandpaper. So here I'm tilting the box or the pedestal over so you can see what I'm going to cut next. And this is the little part where your hand is going to go to hold the box and move it around. The square's cut to actually 10 inches and 3/4, and actually it's an inch less than the outside diameter of the box. Next, I have to drill a pilot hole. This is to get my jigsaw into the plywood so I can cut out a handhold for the bottom of the box here. Here you go. That's what it looks like. Okay, here what I'm doing is I'm cutting some blocks. These are going to attach to the base and to the top of the squares, the 10 inch by 3/4 inch squares. What I'm doing is I'm putting some wood glue on them, and then I'm attaching them and then going to nail them in. Word of caution here, I nicked my hand when I did this. My nail gun slipped, so I'd hate to see any of you guys get a nail through your finger or palm of your hand, so just be careful when doing this. Okay, next I'm putting some additional glue on the sides. This is to make sure that the panels that I'm attaching are secure. It's always good to use glue and nails. That looks pretty good. Alright, so next what I'm doing here is I'm putting glue on the edge of the plywood where I did that 45-degree miter. This part's a little tricky. I put a nail in here to kind of hold it, and then I had to kind of piece it together, putting in some strategic holds. Once you get the first one in, it's pretty easy. This is the top piece right here. I'm going to attach this. I'm gluing it up. Now the top part has to be offset by 1/2 inch. I used a scrap piece of wood to make this. It's like my little jig to make sure everything was lined up. And then here's the last piece going in. It's really nice to see how things come together. Take your time in doing this. You want to make sure that all those edges come together perfectly. Okay, so once everything's nailed up, you have to sand and break the edges. Do this very carefully because plywood has a veneer on it and you can just easily strip it off. Okay, so here what I'm doing is I'm marking the center where my hole saw is going to go through. Okay, here I've cut the hole and I'm breaking all the rough edges and sanding it out with some hand sandpaper, and then taking my palm sander and sanding everything really nice and clean. Next, I place glue on the top of the box, and then I place the last component in, testing it, make sure it has a nice fit snug, and pushing it down and let that glue overnight. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're just going to repeat this entire process 5 different times. The only variable that changes is the length of the boxes. I'll provide all that in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and watch some other videos. They're really cool, I promise.